So moving next to one of the very challenging topic. So we have an expert in this area. The topic is on antimicrobial resistance in poultry, because antimicrobial is attributed, resistance is attributed to so many factors. So of late, there's been a lot of media attention toward this topic. So antimicrobial resistance in poultry. So what are the myths and the reality? So to address this and enlighten us, we have an expert in this subject. Let me introduce Dr. M.R. Reddy. He's the principal scientist at the Avian Diagnostic Laboratory, Bareilly. And he's Bachelor's of Veterinary Science from Tirupati Veterinary College, Master's from IVRI, and PhD from University of Melbourne. And he's also Master of Australian College of Veterinary Science, Poultry Health. And more than 25 years of experience in the areas of poultry diagnosis and health management. And sir is also the founder secretary of the Association of Avian Health Association of Avian Health Professionals, which every 2 years they conduct a scientific forum. So Dr. M.R. Reddy sir, please welcome Dr. M.R. Reddy sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay, and good afternoon, everybody. Respected eminent industry personnel from the Vice Chancellor from the University and also all the delegates. First, I will thank Poultry Federation of India for giving me this opportunity to be here and share some of the experiences and information on antimicrobial resistance in poultry. So as you all know, this is gaining very much important. And also this is becoming a global problem now. It is not restricted to one nation or one sector. Yeah, it is becoming a global issue now. That is, the antimicrobial agents are very much essential for treatment of human as well as animal diseases. And it is an inevitable consequence of antimicrobial use. Whether used in animal or whether used in human, that leads to antimicrobial resistance. So the resistant bacteria which arise, even in the human or in the animal, that can spread either way, and also it contaminates the environment. From environment also it can spread to animals or human beings. And also it can, now because in the free trade situation, this can spread from one country to another country. So yeah, why it is taking media attention. So what are the things? Let us see from WHO, WTO, what they say of their news releases and media statements. The world is running out of antibiotics. This is the statement given by WHO, and it confirmed. And then antimicrobial resistance is a global health emergency that will seriously jeopardize progress in modern medicine. This is also Director General of WHO has given this statement. Then pharmaceutical companies and researchers must urgently focus on new antibiotic development. Then stop using antibiotics in healthy animals to prevent the spread of antimicrobial resistance. Then countries are making significant steps in tackling the antimicrobial resistance, but still there are serious gaps, and we need to you can say, address them very urgently. And I think this news might have seen everybody in the news in 2017 that says the superbug from India resistant to all available antibiotics. So a 70-year-old woman in USA died after being infected by superbug during her visit to India. So they have isolated Klebsiella pneumonia that was resistant to many diseases. So don't take it negatively. Don't take antibiotic microbial resistance and whatever media is coming, whatever news are coming. Let us not take in a negative direction. Let us be in a positive and how to address this thing. And as I said, this is not a national problem now or one sector problem. This has to be tackled collectively. And it is a food safety issue and welfare issue, especially suppose if an animal is sick, if you are not treating with antibiotics, And if animal dies, that is again a welfare issue. Then we have to treat, but we have to use antibiotic wisely. Then it is an economic problem. Definitely, if suppose antimicrobial resistance is going to rise, that leads to several complications. Then definitely, if antibiotic not working because of AMR, then that also leads to food security issue. So we are not having sufficient food for humans. Then again, it is a developmental issue. We cannot progress, and it is a political challenge, because that's why several countries and all world organizations are getting involved in this. Then what is its impact? If you see here, this figure here, that is a World Bank given a survey, and based on their report, the impact of antimicrobial resistance by 2050 would be wide-ranging. So 28 million people then fall into poverty by 2050. Then $1 trillion US dollars global increase in the medical costs, and there will be 7.5% decline in the global livestock production, and there is a 3.8% reduction in the global trade. So this is the estimation given by World Bank. We do not know whether what is going to happen, whether this survey is going to be correct or not, but definitely there is an issue. Then if you see the current situation, the annually 7 lakh deaths are currently being recorded because of AMR. Then 10 million people projected deaths in 2050. Then $100 trillion loss of global economy till 2050, and 3.5% reduction in global GDP by 2050. This is the impact what they assessed. And again, if suppose one bacteria develops antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial resistance, and that is not confined to that particular bacteria, so the resistant genes can spread from one bacteria, one species of bacteria to another species. For example, if you see here, the staphylococcal, the resistant genes that can be transferred to Enterococcus, from Enterococcus that can be spread to Pneumococcus, then from Enterococcus to Streptococcus. So that means if one antibiotic is developing a resistance to one particular organism, if that organism also can contribute spreading of these genes to other microorganisms in the gut. So this has become a worldwide importance. Then what happened? So this only one organization, one country cannot take up this issue. So what happened? There is a alliance, tripartite alliance by that FAO, OIE, that's World Animal Health Organization, and World Health Organization. Then internationally they formed an alliance, and here they identified 3 major issues which are actually important, which needs collective efforts. So there are 3 important priorities. If you see, that is, one is influenza. That's what we are taking, because they spread from animals to humans. Then combating antimicrobial resistance. Then third one is rabies. These are the 3 major priority areas identified to tackle collectively. So how they're coming to the antimicrobial resistance, the FAO, OIE, WHO tripartite collaboration on AMR, they're going to address this issue collectively, that is called One Health approach. So what are the aims of these alliance? To ensure the antimicrobial agents continue to be effective. That is actually our aim. The antibiotics what we have, we should have forever effective, and for the next generations also we should use them. And they should be useful to cure diseases in humans as well as animals. They're not telling only it's a problem of human beings. So we have to protect efficacy of these antibiotics for animals also, for veterinary purpose also. Then promote prudent and responsible use of antimicrobial agents in human as well as veterinary medicine. Then ensure global access to medicines of good quality. So these are the 3 important aims of this alliance. So as a follow-up, then what happened? So these 3 organizations, joined together, they made a global action plan. They come up with a global action plan. In that global action plan, they actually identified 5, 6 objectives. So that is, one is creating the awareness and understanding of antimicrobial resistance. This is how we are going to take up. That is through effective communication, education, and training. So then strengthening of national capacities to address antimicrobial resistance. Then supporting countries to establish policies, institutional capacities, and also regulatory networks. Then support harmonized antibiotic resistance surveillance and global monitoring. So this is also very important. We do not know which antibiotic is resistant, in what extent, in which country. So throughout the world, we should have a common, uniform protocols. So now they are actually come up with some standard protocols, World Health Organization, FAO, and also in India, this ICR. Recently, they launched a network program on surveillance of antimicrobial resistance. Then promoting the research and development of new antimicrobial agents, and also vaccines, and also diagnostics. Then support effects to fight against circulation of poor quality and counterfeit products. So this is also another important. If the antibiotics are not effective, they are poor quality, then there is a chances of failure of treatments and development of antibiotic resistance. Then promote improved infection prevention and control measures. So that is a global action plan. Based on the global action plan, the FAO also come up with some guidelines, and also OIE also developed prudent use of antimicrobial resistant guidelines. So keeping all these three in view, the government of India also made national action plan on antimicrobial resistance. So they actually focused on 6 strategic priority areas that actually improving the awareness. These are nothing but global action plan. Improving the awareness and understanding of AMR, then strengthening the knowledge and evidence through surveillance, then reduce the incidence of infection through effective infection prevention and control programs, then optimize the use of antimicrobial agents in health, human health and animal health and food, then promote investments for antimicrobial resistance activities, research and innovations, then strengthen the India's leadership in antimicrobial resistance. Then as a follow-up of these things, what are the actions taken by government of India, Indian authorities? So regarding our animal veterinary aspect, they made a mandatory to mention withdrawal periods on the labels of veterinary drugs. So especially that are used in the food producing animals, if the specific withdrawal period is not mentioned or not validated, it should be 8 days for eggs and 28 days for the meat. Then DADF also issued a circular requesting states to advise veterinarians on judicious use of antimicrobials for the treatment of ailing food producing animals. It is also mentioned that the antibiotics in feed is to be stopped. And also, if you take into the human aspect, the national policy for containment of antimicrobial resistance is developed by Minister of Health and Family Welfare. Then a new schedule H1 drugs also introduced. Then Indian Medical Association, they come up with a standard treatment guidelines for the prescription of antibiotics. Then if you see here, for animal veterinary side, the OIE is the World Animal Health Organization. They classified antibiotics into 3 categories. That is veterinary critically important antimicrobials, then veterinary highly important antimicrobials, then veterinary important antimicrobial agents. So here actually these antibiotics are actually, there are some antibiotics which we only use in humans, which we only use in animals, and some we use in both. And there are some antibiotics which we are using in animals for growth promotion also. So if you see here, The penicillins, mostly around 44% usage is in humans, only 6% usage in animals. That means there is a overlapping of 6%. Then cephalosporins, mostly they are used in humans and less quantities they use in animals. Then sulfur drugs also, majority they use in humans and very less in animals. Then quinurans also, mostly they use in animals, then less than 1% in. Then macrolides, tetracyclines, if you see tetracyclines, mostly they use it in the veterinary practice. Then inophores, anyway they are not using in the human beings, this is only being used in animals. Then even if you see the quantities of antimicrobial agents, this is the Denmark data, because we do not have data for our India. Now we should develop, we should have our own data. We should assess what is the antibiotic we are using in different sectors of veterinary field. So if you see the Denmark, in the pigs, how much they are using, highest quantity of antibiotic they use in pigs, then followed by cattle, then poultry, then other production animal species, then companion animals. So if you see, they actually adopted this antimicrobial ban on growth promoters, then and also judicious use of antimicrobial agents. Then they notice, if you see the comparison of the antimicrobial usage, 2015 and 2016 figures, there is a slight reduction, almost you can say 5,000 to 6,000 kgs of active compound. So this is the categorization of antimicrobial agents that are used in the avian species, that is in poultry. Then we have plenty of antibiotics. We need not worry. There are so many antibiotics in each and every class. Even if you see here, everywhere we are having antibiotics which are veterinary critically important antibiotics. So we have plenty of antibiotics we can judiciously use in animal practice also. So you see here, many they are classified in veterinary very critically important antimicrobials. Then where we are using antibiotics in poultry and why we are using. So one is therapeutic or curative purpose. So as per the definition, therapeutic or curative purpose means if the animal is sick or diagnosed with a disease, only we have to use. But that is possible in humans as well as in animals, small animals or large animals, where individually we consider them. So then second category is the control or metaphylaxis. So here what happens, the treatment of a group of birds after diagnosis of infection and or clinical disease in part of the group, with the aim of preventing the spread of infectious disease to birds close in contact and at considerable risk and which may be already in subclinical stage or in incubating stage. Then third category is preventive purpose. We use antibiotics for preventive purpose, that the treatment of bird or a group of birds before clinical signs of infectious disease in order to prevent the occurrence of disease or infection. All these three are justifiable, and we can use antibiotics in all these three categories, but where we judiciously use with the prescription of advice of veterinarian. But the only problem now is with the growth promoters, and anyway in many countries they have banned. So even in India also, as per the that advisory note, these antibiotics are advised to stop using in poultry. So where we are using in poultry industry, if you take, the most commonly we use antibiotics to prevent, to treat septicemic situations. One important thing for poultry is, here actually, if birds are sick, even suppose clinically we are not able to diagnose, if the symptoms are not giving clues about the disease, then we can sacrifice some of the birds and we can see the lesions. And so we have the diagnosis at the farm level, the veterinarian, you can make better diagnosis as compared to other large animals or human beings, because there only they have to refer to the laboratory and based on the laboratory. But here the farmer can afford to sacrifice a few of the sick birds. When you do post-mortem, definitely most of the situations they can diagnose these diseases. And also another important thing is the bacterial diseases are mostly secondary due to so many other factors that we will see in the subsequent slides. And when we follow, I mean, if this is the slide from the UK situation, the animal and veterinary use of antibiotics in UK. So if you see the World Health Organization reports, they say 80% of antimicrobial agents are used in animal treatment or animal use. But whereas if you see here in UK, they say 44% in animals and 56% in humans. So, but we cannot, why I am showing this thing, we cannot say that, because we are using antibiotics based on the body weight. So the body mass, that we have to take into consideration. The total body mass of all animals and total mass of human beings. And also we should not, this is not the way to compare. Actually, they use this 80% of antimicrobials are being used in veterinary field. So that is giving some false impression actually. So after adopting this judicious use as well as banning of these antibiotics in UK, they actually really achieved good progress. If you see here, almost 70%, 71% reduction in the antibiotic usage in poultry, meat sector, that is from 2012 to 2016 in UK. And if you see here, gradually it has reduced from 2014 to 2017, the milligrams per PCU. So there is a drastic reduction. That means they have followed these judicious use principles as well as they banned these antibiotics, and also this reflected in their antimicrobial resistance pattern also. Then another disturbing thing is this one CSC in Delhi, that is the Center for Science and Environment. They actually now and then they collect some samples and they analyze and they report. So here actually if you see here, the eating chicken could make you immune to antibiotics. That is the CSC report came in newspapers and in a large, with figures and all those things. Then what they say is that each time you eat chicken, you could also be consuming a cocktail of antibiotics. A lab study released by Center for Science and Environment found antibiotic residues in 40% of chicken samples brought from outlets in Delhi and NCR. So whatever they say is they found antibiotic residues, but if you really see the figures, the upper one is actually the report of CSC. The whatever residual levels they found in different organs, that is the muscle, liver and kidney. And if you see what are the MRLs, maximum residual levels, permissible, they are well below this. That means whatever they have reported is totally wrong. So you can consider it safe. Whatever figures they have given and whatever figures, even if you compare with UK standards, UK MRL levels, it's well below that. No one, if you see here in the table, no antibiotic. All these antibiotics are approved antibiotics for poultry. Whatever they are using, they are all approved. They are licensed antibiotics. And even if you see, these MRL levels are still higher in America. They said MRL levels very high as compared to UK. So if you compare with American MRLs, it's negligible, whatever MRLs they reported from Indian samples. So of course, these are some of the antibiotic. Then again here I wanted to mention one thing, then how they are going to arrive these MRLs. So actually if a person who consumes 500 grams of meat, 1.5 liters of milk, 2 eggs and 20 grams of honey daily for you continuously, then how much residues will be found in the body? Based on that they decide these MRLs. So even if you see our Indian consumption pattern, still it is, you can say it is very negligible. But I am not defending that, but still we need to stick to the MRLs. We should have our own MRLs or we have to follow MRLs which are already exist in other countries. And we should make sure that our MRLs are below the standards, so that the consumer confidence we can gain, and we can also go for export of meat and eggs. Then why this antimicrobial resistance is developed? So here actually, as per the literature, if you see, in humans, the mistreatment or misdiagnosis, especially now the antibiotic, this disease, bacterial disease incidence is very common in old age people. And also, as you know, the immunosuppressive diseases like HIV, when people are suffering from HIV, they frequently get into sick bacterial infections. The consumption of antibiotics has increased. And sometimes they use underdose, because even they prescribe, the people may not consume total course. Then incomplete course, then without doctor's advice. So these are some of the important points where these antibiotic resistance can develop. Then if you see the CDC statement of USA, the doctors prescribed 258 million courses of antibiotics in 2010, and they found half of the prescriptions given to people are unnecessary. So whatever antimicrobial resistance is developed, it is not only due to, it's mainly due to the misuse of or overuse of antibiotics in human beings, and also since chicken is a food or animal, we are using food, animals as food. So if there is a resistance or residues in the animals, that can also contribute antimicrobial resistance in humans. Coming to animals or poultry, why we are using? Because there is a high risk of infection because of confined rearing and large scale production of animals. Then mass medication. So in humans and small animals or companion animals, we use individual animal medication, but here we use actually mass medication. Even suppose 5% birds are sick, we are going for medication for entire flock. Then mistreatment or misdiagnosis, sometimes this happens. Then late diagnosis. The farmer sometimes he may delay, he may not be noticing the clinical symptoms, so that already the disease has advanced. So at that stage, even if we diagnose also, sometimes antibiotics which we use may not work. Then vaccine reactions. This is another major important factor. Most of the live vaccines, sometimes when we use, they may cause more reactions because of birds are under immunosuppression and stressful situation. So when there is a reaction, naturally the secondary infections, bacterial infections, so more usage of antibiotics. Then food hygiene also, if you say, that is not up to the level. Then quality of drug. Sometimes even if the farmer use antibiotic correct dose and correct course, sometimes it may not be useful because of the poor quality of the drug. Then incomplete course, then management errors. So here actually management errors, one or two things I wanted to mention. Suppose if there is a improper brooding, that is not sufficient temperature in the sheds, or very less days of brooding. In those situations, the birds get into stress, and they easily succumb to the bacterial infections. And also another thing is improper debeaking. For example, the debeaking is not proper, if not properly cauterized, there is an access of infection. So in those situations, they have to use antibiotics. Then most of the times, antibiotics are used without advice of veterinarians. So then in poultry industry, then how to overcome this? It is really a complex health problem. So here if you see, we have to maintain the integrity of the respiratory tract and also integrity of the gastrointestinal tract. Why? Because these are the two systems, they get access to the environment, outside environment, through food, water, or whatever, air. So whatever bacteria which is there in the environment or food or water, they get easily access to this. So as long as the integrity of the respiratory system and gut is maintained, and actually these bacteria naturally they're actually defended by these two systems. But whenever there is a loss of integrity due to vaccine reactions or some other respiratory viral infections or mycoplasma, or if you see in the gut, if there is a coccidiosis or any other vaccine reactions, so the bacteria which is there in the environment, in the feed, water or air, that can get access into the blood. and there will be development of septicemia and secondary bacterial infections. So we have to use antibiotics. Similarly, there are situations like immunosuppression, mostly the Marek's disease, chicken anemia virus, or IBD, Rio, IBH, or even toxins and stress. These situations can create immunosuppression in birds. So naturally, more reactions to the normal vaccines, birds are get into the infections. So we have to use more antibiotics. Then how to overcome these situations? So here actually the farmer, veterinary and other experts must work together to ensure that the outcome of the treatment is effective. So this is one thing, and we do not have code of practice because now a global action plan is there, then national action plan is there. Then we have to develop our own poultry industry also. That is a code of practice for use of antibiotics in poultry. So this is very much important. So what is the plan? How to use these antibiotics? So if you can develop our own code, so that based on that we can say yes, this is the progress we are going to make. Then AMR surveillance and assessment of antimicrobial usage. This is also very important because we do not have any data on antimicrobial resistant surveillance. Because recently the ICR has launched in collaboration with the FAO and OIE a program, the network program, where actually they are monitoring antimicrobial resistance across the country. I think they have taken only E. coli. I think that is from poultry. So maybe we can adopt same, because there are several laboratories even in industry also, they are very good labs. So if they can adopt same protocol, they can also come up with some data every year at the end of the year. You can share that data, or you can pool that data. We can say, okay, now this is the situation. Tomorrow, next year, it has been reduced or increased, so that we have something in our hand to show, so that okay, there is a progress made in this line. We can show that. Then the most important thing is the control of immunosuppressive diseases. Because in India, there is a confusion whether we have very virulent plus Marek's disease. If it is there, whatever vaccines we have as on date, that is a serotype 2 and 3, they are not effective. So we have to go for serotype 1, that is serotype 1 in Marek's disease vaccine. And similarly, another important immunosuppressive disease, that is the chicken anemia virus. So far in our country, we do not have live vaccine. We have killed vaccines, but that they are not effective. So we need immediately this CAV live vaccines are required, because this is creating a lot of problem, especially in commercial layers. This leads to immunosuppression that is causing gangrenous dermatitis and so many other issues in the industry. And also we need vaccines to reduce the antimicrobial usage. We need vaccines for some of the endemic diseases like ILT. Wherever there is ILT, invariably in 2-3 days after ILT infection, there will be secondary infections. So we have to go for antibiotics. So similarly, low pathogenic avian influenza, this also causes respiratory damage as well as it causes immunosuppression. So in most of the low pathogenic avian influenza outbreaks, what we are getting, invariably we get into bacterial infections, secondary bacterial infections. So whenever there is a LPI or ILT, if you see the prescriptions, definitely they use antibiotics. If you do not want to use these antibiotics in these situations, then we need vaccines for ILT and low pathogenic avian influenza. So nowadays this E. coli has become a major problem, whatever it may be, due to immunosuppression or vaccine reactions or improper non-availability of vaccines. So we need maybe think about E. coli vaccine. It's already available in some countries, but for our country also. Then we need similarly salmonella, because there are certain diseases which enters into the bird or in a flock that remain forever. These are persistent infections. They are permanent residents, like ILT. Once it enters into any layer form, it will remain, because we have multi-age flocks. Then mycoplasma. Similarly, chicken anemia, salmonella. So these diseases permanently reside in the farm. We do not have any mechanism as on date to eliminate it totally from these, because ours are multi-age flocks. Then we need, of course, the management hygiene. So here actually, what is required? We can do several things at farm level. Only thing is we have to pay attention to each and every activity what we are doing in the farm. As I mentioned, one is brooding. If the proper brooding is not there, if you see commercial broilers around after third week or maybe fourth week, we invariably they get into respiratory infections followed by septicemia. So why? Because they abruptly they stop brooding, maybe around 10th day or 12th day somewhere. The same time they give highly invasive IBD vaccines. So because of this IBD vaccines also sometimes cause reaction, more reactions, immunosuppression and brooding stress, then that leads to more stress and that causes septicemic conditions, respiratory problems. Then, yeah, as I said, we have to pay attention to details for each and everything, whether we are using foot bath, whether we are correctly adding the water and correctly adding disinfectant. Every farm has got foot bath, but really we do not know how much water they are keeping, how much disinfectant they are keeping. So these are very small things, but if you look in the farm itself, we can do several, points, improvements in that farm that can prevent usage of antimicrobials in the farm. Then we have to maintain standards. We should have our quality standards for each and every activity what we perform in the farm. Then another thing is several technical seminars we conduct. Mostly the consultants and farmers will attend those technical seminars of different companies. But what I would suggest is we should have such type of training programs for farm managers and supervisors also. They are the real people, those who are working at the ground level. So they implement whatever management or biosecurity measures what we use. Then of course, this is another, if you antibiotic are banned for growth promotion, we need to look for other alternatives. And there of course, there are several options. Then finally, to reduce this antimicrobial resistance, everyone in the poultry industry has to work together. Everybody has got one or the other responsibilities. So veterinarian has got his own responsibility. Then farmers also has got their own responsibilities. So farmers also always take in consultation with the veterinarian, and they should plan health plan for their particular farm. And they frequently discuss with the veterinarian. They should share the data or performance or clinical. And then they should take advice of doctors while using this antimicrobial. Another one point I would like to mention here is, if you see in most of the majority of the farms, we do not have very simple things. We do not have a post-mortem facility. People are doing post-mortem on the ramps or on the roads here and there. And also we do not have a proper disposal, a dead bird disposal facility. When birds are died due to E. coli or ILT or low pathogenic avian influenza, they cut and they will throw simply somewhere near their farm. Mostly they dispose these things on open yards. So these are creating really panic, creating situations like outbreaks. So ultimately the take home message is, use this antibiotic wisely and preserve the effectiveness of antibiotics. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So do we have any burning questions for Dr. M.R. Reddy? Okay, so since we are running a bit short of the schedule in the time, so can we have thanks to Dr. M.R. Reddy sir for a fantastic presentation. Thank you, sir. So friends, we are coming closer to the end of this session. So we have one of the very out of the box speaker here, which is not directly linked to the poultry, but we thought that let's learn from an outside in perspective. So we have a very distinguished speaker. So if you Google rural or rural marketing, the one word which you find every time in India is Pradeep Lokhande. So we have a very distinguished speaker. So Pradeep ji, please come forward. And can we have a big round of applause for Pradeep ji? So Pradeep ji is not going to use any slides. And you must have already received some notebooks. So he will tell you what is the notebooks or postcard is all about. So just few lines, but you can Google it. You can find tons of videos, tons of information about Pradeep ji and his rural expertise. So Pradeep ji is on a mission for the last 22 years. and he has personally visited 5,800 villages across the country. And together with his team and the support he garnered from the corporate houses, he has installed or provided 28,000 used computers for the rural secondary schools. So with his dream, he is providing that infrastructure. And not only for one particular state, Maharashtra, but across the 10 states of the nation, he has provided this 28,000 used computers to those secondary schools. So one word which will be very interesting for all of us here. So he is on a mission of called as NRV, that is non-resident villages. So we all are non-resident villages, but we have somewhere a connect of the village in our lives. So he has established more than 3,910 Gyan Ki libraries. So this Gyan Ki libraries concept, Pradeep ji will share with us, which has benefited 1 million students. 10 lakh छात्रों को उसका लाभ प्राप्त हुआ है. So I think I will not steal the thunder since Pradeep ji is here. Over to him, sir. So no slide shows.
Yeah. So I'll speak from here only. और वो दरवाज़ा भी खोल दो कि बाहर के लोगों को भी सुनाई देगा या अंदर आ जाए. हाँ, थोड़ा मैं जोरों में बात करता हूँ तो शायद उनका आवाज़ से मेरा आवाज़ बढ़ जाए. काइंडली रिक्वेस्ट देम कि थोड़ा मेरे से ज़्यादा आवाज़ करे तो कि मैं और आवाज़ बढ़ा दूँ. थैंक यू वेरी मच. हाँ, थोड़ा कोशिश करो इफ पॉसिबल. एक मराठा लाख मराठा. चलो, anyway, I'll start, I think so. Okay, friends, my name is Pradeep Lokhande. Name of my organization is Rural Relations. It looks like an NGO, but it is through and through professional organization. Because whenever we talk about rural, we think that somebody is doing some charity to rural India. But unless and until we will not see rural India from a professional perspective, we are not going to reach to the rural consumer. And my humble request to everybody is, look to them as a consumer and not as a villager. When you look at him as a consumer, you will deliver him. अभी जो हम देखते हैं उसको, वो विलेजर है, वो गरीब है, वो ऐसा है, वो वैसा है, ऐसे होना चाहिए, वैसे होना चाहिए. Please come out of it. And why I am talking about rural India? Because now the entire world is looking at rural India. Because the urban market is saturated. Now you take any segment, the urban market is saturated. And why rural India? Because you take any segment, including financial sector, the market share of rural India is more than urban India. Including financial sector, and you can Google and see it. कारण माय बाप तर आता तेज झालेले आहेत आपले. Because they are our माय बाप. जो मैं कहता हूँ वो कहता है, उसको कोई बिलीव नहीं करेगा. Everybody will go to Google and see that what number is throwing is correct or not. But you can see that. So what I am going to tell you is the basic problem of whenever you talk about rural India is a negativity. वहाँ गरीब लोग रहते हैं, उनके पास कुछ नहीं, वो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. ये basic thought है. So what I am going to share with you is rural India is changing in a big way, and believe me, I am not a political person. Don't go by this. मैं काला हूँ इसलिए सफेद पहनता हूँ. That's all. Nothing more than that. Please understand this. But I am going to tell you the brighter side of rural India. Because every day what you read, listen, understand is the darker side of rural India. Now for an example, we take education. Do you know that we are the largest elementary education system in the world? हम दुनिया के सबसे बड़े elementary education system है. But what we discuss, generally we discuss is, एक गांव में एक टीचर स्कूल में नहीं आया. That's all. Why? Why we discuss that? Why we are discussing that? कि 15 करोड़ बच्चे प्राइमरी एजुकेशन में इस देश में जाते हैं. The entire population of Europe is 29 करोड़. आधा population तो इधर स्कूल में जाता है. बाकी छोड़ो, देखेंगे हम क्या करना है. How you can relate your product that 15 crore student, because जिस घर से बच्चा स्कूल में जाता है उस घर के बच्चों को उन्हें अच्छा बनाना है. अच्छा बनाना है means education देना है और उसका health अच्छा करना है. So how you can relate your product with that 15 crore consumer? Look at the number, huge number. मैं नम्रता से कहता हूँ, इसमें से कितने लोगों ने न्यूजीलैंड विजिट किया है? न्यूजीलैंड. What is the population of New Zealand? The population of New Zealand is just 43 lakhs. 6 years back it was 47 lakh and now it is 43 lakhs. और दूसरा एक आंकड़ा आप समझ लीजिएगा, the second number is हमारे देश में हर साल 1 करोड़ 20 लाख बच्चे जन्म लेते हैं. Means every year we are creating 3 New Zealands. There is a huge number. थोड़ा तालियां बजाओ यार इसके ऊपर भी, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. The problem is तालियां भी नहीं बजाते हैं लोग. And it is good to blood circulation, not to me. मेरे लिए नहीं, आपने खुद के लिए. So huge demand friend. 7.5 करोड़ बच्चे सेकेंडरी स्कूल में आते हैं, वो सभी आपके कंज्यूमर हैं. Why not look at them from that perspective? There are 10.5 crore students who get the midday meal. Can you relate your product with that? You can. आपका फोर्स बना दो, जाओ प्रोटीन फेयर साइकोसिस करो. देखो इस देश में फेयर साइकोसिस करके एक प्रोडक्ट इतना बिकता है कि हर कोई आदमी गोरा होना चाहता है. It is a fair psychosis, nothing more than that. तो प्रोटीन इज रिक्वायर्ड. हाउ बेस्ट यू कैन पुश दैट? ये करना पड़ेगा, बट ये करना पड़ेगा. हम ऐसे नहीं कि आप नहीं कर रहे, हम कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा फोर्स इसमें डालना पड़ेगा, नंबर के साथ लोगों के पास जाना पड़ेगा और बताना पड़ेगा कि इट इज पॉसिबल, इट इज पॉसिबल. नाउ लुक एट द कम्युनिकेशन. नाउ प्राइमरी, हाँ, फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन, व्हाई एजुकेशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट. जैसी एजुकेशन आता है कंज्यूमरिज्म आता है, क्योंकि उसके लगता है मुझे सब कुछ समझता है. सो education has reached to practically every household of this country, and don't go by that. Always we talk about that Kala Handi and all these few districts of the country, but let me tell you that out of 707 districts of this country, 500 districts are doing good. So should we discuss about that 200 districts, or should we discuss about that 500 districts are doing good? By per capita, how best you can capture your market in these 500 districts. हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा फ्रेंड्स, और ये सभी बड़ी कंपनियां देख रही है. व्हाई नॉट वी? प्रोडक्ट है, अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है, नीड है. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट डिमांड. देयर इज अ बिग डिफरेंस बिटवीन डिमांड एंड नीड. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट नीड. नीड है ये. हाउ बेस्ट वी कैन मैरी दैट. Primary education in this country is in 1.5 kilometer radius. Secondary education is in 3 kilometer radius. It's a good thing which has happened in this country. Second is communication is reaching to practically every Indian. Doordarshan is reaching to 92% population of India. Satellite TV is reaching to 65 to 75% population of India. And the biggest revolution which is happening in this country is हर घर के ऊपर एक छतरी है. DTH. If he has a 7,000 rupees, he is buying an entertainment. For him it is an entertainment, but you, that is a channel for you, because he gets 100 odd FTA channel, free to air channel. Means this दिन उसके घर पे वो छतरी लगती है which is costing 2,300 rupees और 5,000 का कलर टेलीविजन. अगर इनके पास, आपके पास एक प्लाज्मा है और उसके पास 5,000 का कलर टेलीविजन है, कई ने कहीं एक ही दिखती है. 5,000 के ऊपर वो कम नहीं दिखती है, छोटी नहीं दिखती है, काली नहीं दिखती है, वही दिखती है. मीन्स द कम्युनिकेशन इज रीचिंग टू हिम. हाउ बेस्ट वी कैन कैपिटलाइज ऑन दैट. आप रोक नहीं सकते अभी इस चीज को. इट इज ऑलरेडी रन. एंटरटेनमेंट इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट एज सेक्स. सो एंटरटेनमेंट पहुंच गया है. हाउ बेस्ट वी कैन यूज द चैनल टू रीच टू एवरी हाउस होल्ड और एवरी पोटेंशियल हाउस होल्ड ऑफ इन दिस कंट्री. इट इज पॉसिबल. There is a network, and ये आपके लिए आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. इट इज अ रिमोट कंट्रोल. आप यहाँ से सिर्फ ब्रॉडकास्ट करो वॉट एवर इंफॉर्मेशन यू हैव, वॉट एवर यू वांट टू पुश, and it is reaching to all the 18 crore households of this country. It's a huge number, huge number. And if it is a combined effort, it is comparatively very effective way to reach to rural India. And they spend more time than you and me, because हम लोग तो देश चलाते हैं ना, हम तो बड़े बड़े लोग हैं बहुत, हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है देखने के लिए. बट दे हैव एवरीथिंग. दे हैव अ टाइम आल्सो, दे आर डूइंग गुड आल्सो, एंड बात भी करते हैं उसके ऊपर. The third important thing which is changing, as I have told you, education has reached to practically every household, and the communication is reaching to every household. Means the consumerism. Education आ गया, communication पहुंच गया. अभी third is a controversial subject which I always push. गालियाँ भी दे सकते हैं आप लोग. Now we have a 52 commodities in this country. And government decides the price of that. That is called MSP, minimum support price. Now you go to Google, don't listen to Lokhande. Go to Google and see between 1996 to 2016, there is minimum 200% to 2,000% growth in MSP. Means some money is reaching to the farmer's house. Some money is reaching to the farmer's pocket. Now, in our rural India, there are 65 lakh outlets. Means कुछ तो बिकता होगा वहाँ से. ऐसे तो खोलेगा नहीं वो दुकान. How best we can push our product with these 65 lakh outlets only in rural India? Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. And now previously he used to invest only in two things, land and gold. But today he is investing in everything. How best you can catch hold of him? उसको चप्पल चाहिए, उसको पैंट चाहिए, उसको शर्ट चाहिए, उसको जेल चाहिए, you name it. अब आप देखिएगा, my daughter buys L'Oreal का डबड़ा costing 238 rupees in Pune. Her counterpart in a small village buys the same shampoo of a L'Oreal costing rupees 3. Inspiration में क्या फर्क है? Can anybody discuss with me? Can anybody challenge this? No, you cannot. Because she is buying the same product. And she wants the same effect of that. Actually, she is clever than my daughter because she is investing precisely correct amount on the product. And not like my daughter who is investing for a month. So how best we can reach there? Now the consumerism has already happened in this country. We have to capitalize that. And the multinational and big companies are capitalizing on that. Now levers, Colgate like companies are reaching to more than 1,50,000 villages of the country. Now see, the number is 6,49,000 villages in this country, only 6,000 blocks and only 707 districts. Whatever happening is happening in that 707 district. Some in 6,000 talukas, but what about 6,49,000 villages? वहाँ भी आपका consumer है. How best you can reach to him? Network is there, all thanks to Britishers. They have created fantastic network in this country. Believe me friends, गाली देना बहुत आसान होता है, but there are 3-4 systems which are in this country are really fantastic. One of them is a revenue system. Postal department. There are 1,26,000 post offices in this country. आपकी टीम जाके बात करो उनसे. Can you make a counter there? Because protein is required to every person. हम हमारा counter बना देते हैं. बेचो product वहाँ से. I am not aware कि भाई उसका perishable product है तो कितना time लगता है. But you can find out the ways. But हमें approach तो करना पड़ेगा. Jump तो करना पड़ेगा कहीं ना कहीं to reach to the last mile. And fifth is, क्योंकि मैं 10 ही मिनट बात करने लगा, the fifth is पंचायत राज. How best you can connect to the women council members of the villages. Because पंचायत राज से दोनों फायदे इस देश को हुए. एक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ अ पावर जिससे आपका कोई संबंध नहीं है. बट द सेकेंड इज यू गो टू एनी ग्राम पंचायत ऑफ दिस कंट्री. अगर आप में से किसी ने ग्राम पंचायत देखा होगा 20 साल पहले तो इट वॉज अ डर्टी प्लेस. But today you can go to any of the gram panchayat of this country, you will find it comparatively neat and clean because there are minimum 3 to 13 women council member in every gram panchayat. And by rotation, she becomes as a sarpanch of a village. So how best we can use this female because she is the face of a village. She is an elected lady. She understands, she can speak, she can go house to house and talk about this. And who understand better sanitation and childcare than a female? So how we can use this female? They are 8.5 lakh women council members in this country today. It's a huge number. Only 6,49,000 villages, but there are 8.5 lakh women couples. They are there. कम होते हैं, ज़्यादा होते नहीं, ज़्यादा होंगे, कम नहीं होंगे. And I am talking about the last mile. I am not talking about Panchayat Samiti. I am not talking about Jilla Parishad. I am not talking about that. I am talking about the last public relation office of a village. That is a Gram Panchayat, where there are these women council members. How best we can use them. And the last is a government spending. जब government spending बात आती है, तो सबको लगता है इस देश में सिर्फ corrupt लोग हैं और कोई नहीं है. Everybody is corrupt. अगर ऐसे ही होता था ये इतना अच्छा नहीं दिखाई देता था, ये इतना साफ सुथरा नहीं होता था. Somebody somewhere doing some good work. The problem is a negativity and nothing more than that. हर घर अगर मैं किसी को कहता हूँ कि प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना नहीं, सब लोग खाते हैं. अरे you go to the any steel company and a cement company, ask them why they are running in a premium, because there is a demand across the country. लोग खरीद रहे हैं इसलिए तो हो रहा है ना ये सब, तो सब तो खत्म नहीं हुआ है, नहीं तो हमारा इथोपिया होता था 10 साल पहले, इथोपिया नहीं हो सकता इस देश का, बिकॉज वी हैव अ फैंटास्टिक फैब्रिक, वो नहीं होगा. देयर आर, आई नो दैट देयर आर 3-4% नॉनसेंस पीपल इन दिस कंट्री, बट दैट डजंट मीन एवरीबडी इज बैड. So, why I am talking about, they are spending huge money on different type of activities, because basically wherever there is a third world country, they spend good amount of money on a populistic scheme. One of the populistic scheme is a Narega. How best you can push your product, talk to them, understand from them, how you can marry whatever product you have, because you are talking about protein, you are talking about health, you are talking about the country's health. ये हमें देखना पड़ेगा. So I have talked about the commercial, how they are reaching. Government is also reaching there. You also can reach there. There is a huge demand. Believe me, come again and again. Don't talk about 50 crore people. Talk about 80 crore, and India will be. वो जो 80 crore है, I think it's a huge number. By any means, how we can connect to that 80%. Last 4 sentences and I'll stop. One, by जो भी आप बिजनेस में हो, इनके लिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बाय 2019 एंड practically every Indian will have Android phone. Means he will be connected to the world. आपका प्रोडक्ट है, कनेक्ट करो उसके साथ, अभी ही करो. 2019 के बाद तो वो आप कोई ना कोई उसके पास पहुंचेगा. By 2020, the entire India will be literate. That doesn't mean he and she will speak in English, or he or she will write an essay in English, but he and she will understand what is good and bad. So the different India. अभी उनसे कनेक्ट करो. The third, girls are studying, and they are going to change this country. आपका बहुत बड़ा कंज्यूमर है वो. She is the biggest opinion leader for your product. How best you can connect with him. And next is, मैं हमेशा चाहता हूँ कि there are 85,000 villages in this country, having population about 2,000, and there are 47,000 villages in this country where weekly bazaar takes place. And listen one, क्योंकि हमारे देश में ना अमेरिका ऐसे करती है बोला तो अच्छा लगता है. Now listen then, the turnover of bazaar day of this country is more than Walmart. तालिया. And it is happening. हम कुछ नहीं करते, गांव के लोग ही करते बाजार. यहाँ से कोई नहीं जाता है वहाँ बाजार करने के लिए. They do that. They buy, they sell. It is not a barter. अभी तो बहुत सुधर गए हम लोग. So how can we identify and give an opportunity to 85,000 youth of 85,000 villages of the country to sell your product, promote your product to 6,49,000 villages of this country? Because irrespective of caste and religion, the entire youth of this country is inspired. अभी मैनहट्टन में होने का कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है. If you have a laptop, if you have internet connectivity, you are in a Manhattan or you are in a small village, you are connected to the world. It is possible. So how best you can connect to him, and they are inspired. And by 2032, the entire India will say that I am staying in a great country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Pradeep? Yeah, please.
Lokhande sir, thanks. Thank you very much. I totally agree with you. In our entire chain of various breeders all over the country, there is one self-help group which is done at Tesla Poultry Society by women. We deal with them. They have 7,000 women farmers. You go to their farm and see their biosecurity, one of the best in the country. They are getting one of the best FCRs and body weight. I fully agree with you. Thanks for your insight. Thank you.
सर जरा ज्ञान की लाइब्रेरी के बारे में बता दीजिए. Because it's a good initiative.
Actually, I don't push what I do, but one social initiative we are doing is, because I am staying in Pune, so I can buy wings of fire for my daughter in a given day, which is costing 250 to 300 rupees. But my counterpart who is staying in a village, who is a farmer, probably earning 5 times more than me, will never buy a wings of fire for his daughter. वो उसकी मानसिकता नहीं, उसकी कोई गलती नहीं है. और मैं बताता हूँ, the most developed state of the country called Maharashtra has a 36 district. Out of that 36 district, 28 districts doesn't have a bookshop. This is the problem of this country. Anyway, having said that, I don't talk negative any time because I call myself as a dangerously optimistic person. So what we have done is, how best I can give him a wings of fire. So जे इथे मराठीत बसले त्यांना कळेल की there is a wings of fire and there is a बटाट्याची चाळ also. There is a Sunita Williams also and there is a Sudha Murthy also. So what we have done, we have created a one book list where whatever they think, drama, music, sex, disaster management, constitution, time, you name it. There is minimum one primary book in that library. That is a set of, for Maharashtra, it is a set of 184 books, which cost 6,700 rupees. These libraries were opening in a small village in a secondary school. Why I am making thrust on secondary? Because they are the best opinion leader for anything. It can be your product, my product, anybody's product. Because when the student reach to 5th standard, means usko khud ko padhna hai. Without that, he cannot reach to 5th. This is from a rural perspective. Uske family usko back karti. Without that, he cannot reach to the 5th standard. He is exposed to the communication. His grasping power is at a peak. And very importantly, he is best mouth-to-mouth publisher. So give him, emboss, जो भी आपको अच्छा करना है लाइफ में, उसी एज में करो, because you carry that for a lifetime. So we are giving this set of books to the, all the supporter of this library are compulsorily female. एक भी नहीं है, एक ही है मुझे यहाँ हॉल में तो एक ही लड़की दिखाई दे रही है. Yeah, industry आप क्या लगे? Anyway, having said, all the monitors of this library are compulsorily a girl student. And what we are doing is, the biggest problem with this country is, I am ready to pay, but that money is not reaching to the last mile. Because two honorable Prime Minister have officially told us that I am paying 1 rupee and only 5 paisa is reaching. I am paying 1 rupee and only 50 paisa is reaching. Then who is Lokhande? Money will not reach to the last mile. So we have created our concept where when you pay directly to the publisher. No money involvement with the Pradeep Lokhande. नहीं तो नया गाड़ी उसके घर पे बाहर आ गया, कहीं कहीं घपला किया प्रदीप ने. This is the problem. Agenda क्या है? काम क्या है? उसका कोई मतलब नहीं होता इस देश में. फिर then the school will read back to the donor saying that we have received 184 books worth rupees 8,200 rupees. Means the first loop is complete, because as a donor, when you get a letter from a school saying that I have received this many books and of this rupees, and on that letter pad there is an address, name of a principal, his number, 2 dots are connected. But उसके लिए लोगों ने पैसे नहीं दिए हैं, पैसे दिए हैं बच्चों ने पढ़ना चाहिए. So what we do is, as you have received one postcard on your table, we put one postcard in all good books and we ask student to write back to the supporter saying that कि आपको book कैसे लगा. And believe me friends, till date donors have received more than 1,93,000 letters from the students, their analysis on the book. It's done. And we have received 1,75,000. My humble request to all of you is, anytime you can come to my office and see that letter, जो कि बच्चों ने लिखा है, उसमें से 68% लड़कियों ने लिखा है. This is how India is changing. तालियां, लड़कियों के लिए तालियां. हम मेल हो गए तो क्या हो गया? बचाना पड़. And now we are opening these libraries in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, and we have reached to, in 1,580 working days, we have reached to 4,450 libraries. Yes, we have reached to around 1.2 million students, and as I have told you, we want to open 94 libraries in this country, and we will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pradeep ji. Please have a seat. So friends, we'd like to request Dr. D.K. Dey, the President of INFA, to share his few words with us.
तो लोखंडे साहब के बाद स्टेज में आना थोड़ा मुश्किल काम है, लेकिन मैं जिस एसोसिएशन से बिलोंग करता हूँ, इन्फा, इंडियन फेडरेशन ऑफ एनिमल हेल्थ कंपनीज, काफ़ी कुछ बेसिक काम कर रहे हैं पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री के लिए. मैं सोचा उसका जिक्र किया जाए. देखिए, सुबह से तो काफ़ी हर एक इम्पॉर्टेंट मुद्दा में चर्चा हो चुका है, लेकिन 2 इम्पॉर्टेंट इश्यूज है जो कि इन्फा ने काफ़ी डीप रूटेड काम किया है. ये ज़रूरी है आप सबको बताना. फर्स्ट, जीएसटी. देखिए, यहाँ पे जितने सारे कंपनीज है, 80% ऑफ एनिमल हेल्थ फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनीज, एंड हम सबका 50% से ऊपर रेवेन्यू आता है फीड सप्लीमेंट। मगर जीएसटी का मुद्दा हम कंपनीज के ज़्यादा नहीं है पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री के लिए, जो फार्मर्स है, जो फीड मैन्युफैक्चरर्स है, क्योंकि इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू द इनपुट कॉस्ट। अगर हम इसको एड्रेस नहीं करें तो इनपुट कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा। तो एक डर था, एप्रीहेंशन था, क्या होने वाला है। तो हमने, और ऐसा नहीं मैं क्लेम करूंगा कि सिर्फ इन्फा ने किया, इसके ऊपर एनईसीसी ने काम किया है, क्लाफमा ने किया है, बहुत सारे एसोसिएशन ने काम किया है, लेकिन हमने केपीएमजी की तरह जैसा बिगेस्ट ऑडिट फर्म को एम्प्लॉय किया टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड क्रिएट अ वाइट पेपर। एंड हमने जीएसटी काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया के साथ बहुत डिप्यूटेड काम किया, फ्रॉम साउथ नॉर्थ ईस्ट टू वेस्ट, हर एक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में। जैसे तेलंगाना में हम खुद गए पर्सनली तो मिस्टर एटल राजेंद्र जो फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर है, जो कि खुद पोल्ट्री फार्मर है, महाराष्ट्र, अब गुजरात, हर एक स्टेट में जाके उनका सपोर्ट लिया। एंड इवेंचुअली फीड सप्लीमेंट हैज़ बिकम विद जीरो टैक्स। सो आई थिंक ये बड़ा अचीवमेंट है। चैलेंजेस आज भी है, लेकिन ये बोलना चाहूँगा आज कि इन्फा ने ये काम किया इंडस्ट्री के लिए। दूसरा है, बड़ा सेंसिटिव इशू है, एएमआर, टेक्निकल कुछ बात नहीं करूँगा, लेकिन मुद्दा था एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट का। फरवरी इस साल एक बड़ा ही अनफॉर्चुनेट ऐड आया था, जिसने पूरा पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री को एक्यूज़ किया कि हम लोग फलाना यूज़ करते हैं, फलाना यूज़ करते हैं। तो इसका इम्पैक्ट काफ़ी रहा, काफ़ी गुस्सा था पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री के ऊपर। हमने विदिन इन्फा हमने सोचा इसको कुछ अलग तरह से किया जाए। क्या कि हमने, जैसे आपको पता होना चाहिए कि फिल्म है, टेलीविज़न है, मीडिया है, सबके एक इंटरनल रेगुलेटरी बॉडी होता है। चाहे कोई भी एडवर्टाइजमेंट हो, आप देखते हैं कभी हॉर्लिक्स कॉम्प्लेंट के बीच में झगड़ा होता है, कॉलगेट प्रॉमिस के ऊपर झगड़ा होता है, एक दूसरे को ब्लेम करता है, लेकिन इस तरह से था। और एक बॉडी है ASCI, एडवर्टाइजमेंट काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया। हमने बड़ा सोच विचार किया, मंथन किया उसके ऊपर, फिर उनके पास गए, एक कॉम्प्लेन लॉन्च किया इन्फा की तरफ से अगेंस्ट दैट एडवर्टाइजमेंट, बिकॉज इट वॉज स्पीकिंग अगेंस्ट पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री जो हमको रोजी रोटी देता है। और एडवर्टाइजमेंट काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया थोड़ा इन्वेस्टिगेट किया मैटर के ऊपर। 1.5 महीना उन्होंने हमारी सुना, उनकी सुनी, फिर उन्होंने एक लाइन बोला हमको, जो कि मेरे पास में पीपीटी ने मैं दिखा सकता हूँ, कि कुछ दिन पहले मैं हैदराबाद में कोई फोरम में दिखा है उसको। कंप्लेंट ऑफ इन्फा स्टैंड्स विंडिकेटेड, द एडवर्टाइजर कुड नॉट डिफेंड हिज केस, क्योंकि उन्होंने पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री को एक्यूज किया था। एंड और क्या अचीवमेंट हो सकता है आज। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। आज हम बड़ा पेन के साथ देखते हैं, कुछ दिन पहले एक चिकन कंपनी जो प्रोसेस चिकन मार्केट करता है डोर टू डोर, हार्मोन्स आर यूज, वेयर आवर प्रोडक्ट्स इज फ्री ऑफ एंटीबायोटिक हार्मोन। सुबह अपना प्रधान साहब बोल रहे थे कि किसी ने क्लेम करते कि इंडस्ट्री वाले इंजेक्शन देके 7 दिन में 2 केजी चिकन बनाते हैं। तो यहाँ पे पीएफआई का बड़ा स्ट्रांग रोल होना चाहिए। अब कब तक हम लोग सहेंगे? पीएफआई इज ए रेस्पॉन्सिबल एसोसिएशन। मैं तो चाहता हूँ दबंग भी हो, क्यों नहीं? क्योंकि हम इस सब इशू से अपना मुंह मोड़ना नहीं चाहिए, हमको हमें स्ट्रांगली रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि पीपल शुड नॉट टेक अस फॉर ग्रांटेड, चाहे एनजीओ हो चाहे कोई भी हो। थैंक यू सो मच।
Friends, as promised, the last 5 speakers definitely must have given you some food for thought, that some take-home messages from these speakers must have been come to your mind. I hope that was our effort as a team. So this team was comprised by myself, Dr. Dey sir and Dr. Sujit Kulkarni. So we all of three together with our entire PFI team worked for arranging these speakers and these thoughts for you. So to acknowledge the contribution of speakers, I will request the support of my colleagues. Subramaniam sir, can you please come forward? And may I request first speaker, Dr. Anand. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. Anand? It takes a lot of effort to prepare the slides and present in front of you. So I will request Subramaniam sir to present the memento to Dr. Anand. Now may I request Dr. Kapil Manwal to please come forward, and Ashish, may I request. So friends, let me share, Ashish has a personal exigency today. Despite of that, he could come, so it shows his commitment. So please, a memento for Ashish for your support. I request Dr. Pawan, please come forward. Dr. Deshpande, please, sir, thanks for your enlightening presentation. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. Deshpande, sir, please? Dr. Bhosle, sir, may I request you to please come forward? And Dr. M.R. Reddy, sir, such an insightful presentation, sir. Thanks for coming all the way for this meeting, sir. Can we have a big cheer for Dr. M.R. Reddy, sir, please? Now, may I request Pradhan Sahab, please come forward and acknowledge the speech of Mr. Pradeep Lokhande ji, please. Can we have a big cheer for Pradeep ji? I am sure he must have given you some inspiration to reach out to the rural masses. सर ये लीजिए आप
लोखट्टे साहब हरियाणवी भाषा यूज़ कर रहे थे थोड़ी थोड़ी और उसी जोश में बोल रहे थे जैसे हरियाणा वाला बोलते हैं तो इनको मगा मोमेंटो हम ही देंगे मगर और कोई नहीं देगा
थैंक यू वेरी मच और मैं एक स्पेशल थैंक देना चाहता हूँ दो लोगों के लिए एक डॉक्टर विजय मखीजा इसीलिए देना चाहता हूँ वो 3 साल से मेरे पीछे थे और टाइमिंग सूट नहीं हो रहा था क्योंकि हम भी भागा दौड़ी करते हैं गांव-गांव में जाना पड़ता है एंड डॉक्टर भोसले एंड बाकी सब क्योंकि बाकी लोगों को मैं पहली बार मिल रहा हूँ बट थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गिविंग मी अपॉर्चुनिटी टू शेयर माई एक्सपीरियंस विथ यू ऑल थैंक यू सो मच
So friends, we are moving as per the agenda now. I'll request Dr. Bhosle sir, who is going to be the chairman of the next session for the tea break. Okay. So we'll break for the tea first and then we'll come forward. In next 15 minutes, next 15 minutes we'll have a panel session. Please come forward. So, yeah. So the panelists for this session, I announce the name. Mr. Milind Limay, Deepak Khosla ji, Dr. Pankaj Shukla, Dr. P.G. Falke, हरीश गरवारे जी, खत्री साहब, विजय सरदाना जी and Dr. Ajit Ranade. So please, after 15 minutes, please assemble here for the panel discussion.
I request all sponsoring companies, persons to be here also, because after this session we'll be giving mementos. So all the sponsoring companies, staff has to be here. Gentlemen, this is going to be a just 10 to 15 minute session and then we'll be giving mementos to our sponsoring companies, Poultry Press and association members. So I request all sponsors people to be here available for taking their mementos. So I request the honorable members for this panel discussion to be on the dais, please. Mr. Milind sir, Mr. Deepak Khosla, Dr. Pankaj Shukla sir, Dr. Falke, Mr. Harish Garware, Mr. Ramesh Khatri sir, Dr. Vijay Makhija and Mr. Vijay Sardana sir. I request all the panelists to be here on the dais, please. Dr. Dinesh Bhosle, actually he is outside to receive the chief guest. So I may request Dr. Shukla to kindly start this panel discussion.
जब तक डॉक्टर दिनेश भोसले बाहर बिजी हैं तब तक हम लोग इन हाउस कुछ बातों का डिस्कशन कर लें। सुबह से लगातार कई बातों पर हम लोगों ने विचार विमर्श किया है, मंथन किया है। बहुत ज़्यादा टेक्निकल इश्यूज़ पे ना जाते हुए सबसे पहले मैं ये चाहूँगा कि अगर हमारे ऑडियंस में हमारे जो फार्मर्स लोग आए हुए हैं उनके बारे में, उनके मन में अगर कोई शंका है, उनके अगर कोई प्रश्न हैं, उनकी अगर कोई समस्या है, तो सबसे पहले हम उन चीज़ों को अपने पास कलेक्ट कर लें और फिर एक एक करके उसका जवाब दे दें। तो कल से डॉक्टर विजय, if you can kindly take over the mic. Pawan can assist. अगर सुबह से अभी तक आप लोगों ने सारी की सारी चर्चाएं सुनी हैं। अगर किसी के मन में कोई शंका है या किसी की कोई समस्या है या किसी का कोई सुझाव है तो सबसे पहले हम उसको लेने का कोशिश करेंगे।
Sir, good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Latkar. My question is to you only. You belong to the state of Uttar Pradesh. So, how do you see the growth of layer industry in Uttar Pradesh? Because I think government is supporting the growth. That is, I heard. I have never visited the territory over there. So, just I want to know from you.
Okay. So now it's a very relevant question. In fact, अगर मैं बात करूं लास्ट 5 ईयर प्लान की, विच वी हैड 12 5 ईयर प्लान, उस समय जब हम लोग पूरे देश की पॉलिसी को फ्रेम कर रहे थे, खासकर मुर्गी पालन के बारे में, तो वी क्लासिफाइड द एंटायर कंट्री इनटू 2 डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज. वन, द स्टेट्स वेयर इट वाज अ ट्रेडिशनल होप और अ ट्रेडिशनल वर्क ऑफ पोल्ट्री फार्मिंग, एंड अदर्स वेयर नॉन ट्रेडिशनल स्टेट्स. उसमें उत्तर प्रदेश भी एक था. 3 स्टेट्स की स्टोरी मैं आपको बताता हूं, उत्तर प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ एंड बिहार. अगर उत्तर प्रदेश को ही लें, 2007 से वहां काम करना शुरू किया था, बट इनफैक्ट देयर वाज नो पॉलिसी इन पर्सपेक्टिव विद द पोल्ट्री प्रोडक्शन. 2007 और 2012 के बीच के आंकड़े अगर देखें तो लगभग 138% ग्रोथ हुआ था वहां पे. 138% विदाउट एनी सपोर्ट. नॉन ट्रेडिशनल स्टेट्स की बात बता रहा हूं मैं आपको. उस फिगर को जब हम लोगों ने उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार के सामने रखा था, इनफैक्ट उस समय मैं भारत सरकार में ही था, एंड आई हैव मेड अ रिक्वेस्ट टू द मिनिस्टर एंड टू द प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी एनिमल हस्बेंड्री गवर्नमेंट ऑफ यूपी कि अगर बगैर सपोर्ट के इंडस्ट्री इतना अच्छा वहां परफॉर्म कर रहा है, फार्मिंग को लोग अपटेक करने लगे हैं, तो अगर कोई कुक्कुट नीति बना दी जाए सो परहैप्स ये स्टेट्स ट्रेडिशनल स्टेट्स में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. और उस समय प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी थे मिस्टर योगेश कुमार, ही टुक इट अप, और 2013 में वहाँ पे एक राज्य सरकार की कुक्कुट विकास नीति बनी. और उस कुक्कुट विकास नीति में उन्होंने 3-4 कंपोनेंट रखे थे, उसमें लेयर इंडस्ट्री वाज वन. मोटा मोटा उसका जो पॉलिसी पर्सपेक्टिव था वो सिर्फ ये था कि जो इन्वेस्टमेंट आप करेंगे उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर करेंगे. उन लोगों ने एक सिंगल विंडो सिस्टम क्रिएट किया था, और उसके साथ साथ जो कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट हुआ था उस पे नेक्स्ट 5 ईयर्स के लिए जो इंटरेस्ट आना था, जो इंटरेस्ट आपको पे करना था, वो राज्य सरकार करेगी. तो लगभग इट वाज अप टू अ ट्यून ऑफ 40 lakhs. तो इट केम एज अ ग्रेट सपोर्ट. और उसका फल ये हुआ कि पिछले 3 या 4 साल में जितने लेयर फॉर्म्स वहाँ पे लगे हैं, इंक्लूडिंग 1 या 2 ब्रीडर फॉर्म्स भी थे. तो परहैप्स एक छोटा सा इंसेंटिव पूरे पॉलिसी को एक दूसरे डायरेक्शन में ला करके खड़ा कर दिया है. और उसको देख करके वहाँ पे एक दूसरी कामधेनु स्कीम और शुरू की गई थी, और उसमें थोड़े से कुछ लूप होल्स रह गए थे. परहैप्स उसमें जितना टेक्निकल डिस्कशन पहले होना था वो नहीं हो पाया था, तो अब उसमें भी कुछ रिफाइनमेंट्स चल रहे हैं. ऐसे ही छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार ने भी इस पर विचार किया हुआ है, वो भी अपनी नीति तय करने जा रहे हैं. हालांकि उनने सपोर्ट बहुत किया है, आउट ऑफ द कॉन्टेक्स्ट किया है, बट उनकी अभी स्टेट की कोई नीति नहीं है. तो कोशिश ये है कि जो नॉन ट्रेडिशनल स्टेट्स हैं, अगर वो अपनी अपनी कुक्कुट विकास नीति बना लेते हैं तो एक रोड मैप हमारे पास होता है कि हम यहाँ से शुरू कर रहे हैं, हमें यहाँ तक चलना है, मॉनिटरिंग आसान होता है, और कहाँ कहाँ क्या इनपुट गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जाना है वो देना भी आसान होता है. So in a time to come, yes, उत्तर प्रदेश हैज़ अ ग्रेट फ्यूचर. और कोशिश यही है कि अब जो ट्रेडिशनल स्टेट्स हैं वो तो अपना मैक्सिमम दे ही रहे हैं, जो नॉन ट्रेडिशनल स्टेट्स हैं वहाँ के रिसोर्सेज को भी कुछ एक्सप्लॉइट किया जाए. तो हो सकता है कि ये यूनिट्स जो हमारे लोकल लेवल पे बनेंगे, स्थानीय स्तर पे बनेंगे, उनका प्रोडक्शन, प्रोडक्टिविटी और मार्केट में कॉस्ट इफेक्टिवनेस ज़्यादा अच्छे से हो पाएगी. और हमारे जो नए उद्यमी हैं उनको भी सरकार की तरफ से, बैंकों की तरफ से सपोर्ट मिलता रहेगा.
थैंक यू सर.
लगभग लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर इट वाज अराउंड 6.8%. 6.8% was huge. As a whole. Yes.
डॉक्टर शुक्ला जी नमस्कार, मैं शशांक पुरोहित, पोल्ट्री डेयरी एंड फीड मैगजीन से. मेरा सवाल आपसे ये था कि अगर हम यूएस के मिल्क इंपोर्ट की बात करें तो उस पर बैन भारत सरकार ने इसलिए लगाया क्योंकि भारत की धार्मिक भावनाओं पे आहत होगा, प्लस एंटीबायोटिक भी एक इशू था। हम क्यों नहीं पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री में रहते हुए, जो कि एक रूल बन चुका है, जीएमओ हमारे पास इंपोर्ट मना है, क्यों हम प्रोटेस्ट नहीं कर पाए, जबकि हम डेयरी इंडस्ट्री में वो प्रोटेस्ट कर पाए, जबकि वहाँ कोई ऐसा रूल नहीं है।
I couldn't get. We'll take it, yes. Sure.
मुझे खुशी है कि डॉक्टर दीपक मैसेकर आईएएस डिविजनल कमिश्नर अपने बीच में आ चुके हैं। ही इज ऑल्सो वेटनरी डॉक्टर। ही इज 2 years सीनियर ऑफ डॉक्टर अजीत रानडे सर। सो आई वेलकम यू सर। आज सुबह से हमारी ये संगोष्ठी चल रही है, टेक्निकल सेशन हुए, प्रदीप लोखंडे सर ने रूरल विलेजेस में मार्केटिंग कैसे करनी चाहिए ये चल रहा है। अभी ये सब पैनलिस्ट बैठे हुए हैं हमारे, जो अलग अलग सेक्टर से आते हैं, और विदाउट स्पॉन्सरशिप ये इवेंट हो नहीं सकता। तो इसलिए सारे स्पॉन्सर्स को मोमेंटो आपके हाथों हमने देना है। आप आए, हमें बड़ा अच्छा लगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
मैं पूछ रहा था कि यूएस से मिल्क इंपोर्ट इंडिया में इसलिए बैन है क्योंकि वो लोग अपने फूडर में मीट मिल का यूज़ करते हैं, साथ में ही एंटीबायोटिक का भी एक इशू है। इंडिया में कोई रूल नहीं होते हुए भी मीट मिल के लिए इंडिया ने यूएस से मिल्क का इंपोर्ट बैन कर रखा है, जबकि पोल्ट्री में जीएमओ का इतना बड़ा इशू हुआ। जीएमओ रिलेटेड हम एंटी जीएमओ पॉलिसी को फॉलो करते हैं, फिर भी हम लोग क्यों प्रोटेस्ट नहीं कर पाए?
सी इनफैक्ट देर आर लॉट मोर इश्यूज, और 2007 से हम लोग लगभग हर साल यूएसडीए के साथ बैठते हैं, और जब भी आते हैं, हालांकि हम लोगों के इश्यूज छोटे इश्यूज से लेके बड़े इश्यूज तक होते थे। सबसे लास्ट व्हाट वी कंटेस्टेड कि एलपीएआई भी अगर आपके यहाँ आए तो हम नहीं लेंगे आपका मटेरियल। पर्पज़ ये था कि हाउ बेस्ट वी कैन डिफेंड कि वी शुड नॉट अलाउ देम। बट होता क्या है कि जब ओपन ट्रेड का बात हुआ था और इंडिया वाज वन ऑफ द सिग्नेटरी, देन सर्टेनली वी कैन नॉट गो मच अहेड विद दीज काइंड ऑफ आर्ग्यूमेंट्स। तो हुआ यही था कि वो तीसरे या चौथे बार के बाद दे हैव गॉन टू द इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ स्टेटिंग दैट ये सारे वो इश्यूज नहीं हैं जिनको हम ट्रेड बैरियर में शामिल कर पाएंगे। अभी भी हम लोगों के रिजेंटमेंट्स तो हैं, ये एज ऑन डेट अभी भी हम लोग एग्री नहीं करते हैं वेदर इट इज टैरिफ बैरियर और वेदर इट इज नॉन टैरिफ बैरियर। ऑलवेज एट वन और अदर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम we are taking them up, we are discussing the issues, but होता ये है कि जब ग्लोबल लेवल पे हम बात करते हैं, एक बार हम अपनी ट्रीटी साइन कर चुके हैं और दूसरा फिर आप गिव एंड टेक की बात होने लगी। लास्ट टाइम मैं बता दूं आपको, इट वाज रिगार्डिंग आवर बासमती राइस वर्सेस पोल्ट्री, एंड देन आवर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स दे एंटर इन अ कन्वर्सेशन विद देम, और एट द सेम टाइम यूरोपियन यूनियन ऑल्सो लैंडेड अप इन द इंडिया। अब बातें वो एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री और उन लोगों के बीच की नहीं रह गई थी, इट वाज अगेंस्ट मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड देम। सो व्हाट दे हैव डिसाइडेड अल्टीमेटली इट हैज़ बीन पास्ड ऑन टू दिस मिनिस्ट्री, एंड अगेन वी आर गिविंग अ थॉट टू इट। सो ये बातें उतनी सिंपल नहीं है जितनी सिंपल हमें लगती हैं, बट येस, जैसा सुबह भी मैंने कहा था, वी हैव टू गियर अप आवर सेल्फ, तैयार होना पड़ेगा इन अ टाइम टू कम। वी आर प्रोग्रेसिंग वेरी फास्ट, बट एट द सेम टाइम सेट्स ऑफ लेजिस्लेशंस आर आल्सो कमिंग अप इन द ग्लोबल मार्केट। सो वी हैव टू गियर अप आवर सिस्टम फॉर द ग्लोबल कॉम्पिटिशन। एट वन और अदर टाइम सिर्फ इस बात से कि इस सामान को नहीं आने दिया जाए तभी हम लोग सेफ रहेंगे, ये नहीं होगा। नाउ वी नीड टू हैव आवर ऑफेंसिव रोल। अब हमें दूसरों के आके मार्केट कैप्चर करना है। Not only what we are producing in our country, but it should be globally competitive so that we can market our product in the world market. और इंडिया कैपेबल है, मैं पिछले 10 साल के एक्सपीरियंस के बेसिस पे कह सकता हूँ, जितना रॉ मटेरियल हमें चाहिए, जितने संसाधन हमें चाहिए और जितना प्रोडक्शन हम अचीव करना चाहते हैं वो कर लेते हैं। सो वी आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि वट एवर इज रिक्वायर्ड वी आर इन ए पोजिशन टू प्रोड्यूस। तो अभी उन चीज़ों से घबराने का जरूरत नहीं है।
Any more questions?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, there was a question from the audience regarding the growth of poultry industry in Uttar Pradesh and other area. Friends, मतलब ये तो बिल्कुल सत्य है कि अगर बाकी ऑल इंडिया में अगर हम ग्रोथ लेवल अगर 6 to 7% है, लेकिन जो डाटा जो डिफरेंट एरिया स्टेट से अपने पास आ रहा है, उसमें उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, वेस्ट बंगाल एंड उड़ीसा, उन लोगों की पोल्ट्री ग्रोथ 25 से 30% तक हो रही है। उत्तर प्रदेश आज की तारीख में 3 से 3.5 करोड़ की ब्रॉयलर रिप्लेसमेंट मंथली कर रहा है। लेयर फार्म्स आ रहे हैं, पटना हम लोग लास्ट वीक पटना में थे, तो इवन बिहार में भी छोटे छोटे फार्म्स हैं जिनकी रिप्लेसमेंट अभी 20-25 लाख लेयर तक हो गई है। ईस्टर्न जोन जो कि 2-3 साल के नीचे 40 से 45 लाख के करीब में जिनकी लेयर रिप्लेसमेंट होती थी, वो ईस्टर्न जोन आज 1.3 करोड़ पे ऊपर बैठा हुआ है। तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि ये जो स्टेट थी जिनकी पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज़्यादा है, उनका कंजम्पशन पैटर्न बढ़ रहा है। और उससे भी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी चीज़ क्या है कि इनकी क्वालिटी ऑफ फार्मिंग, मतलब जितने भी अगर आप आज की तारीख में 6 या 7 ब्रीडर हैं उत्तर प्रदेश में, उनकी परफॉर्मेंस देखिए, उनके नंबर ऑफ चिक्स पर पेरेंट स्टॉक देखिए, क्वालिटी FCR देखिए, हैन हाउस एग लेयर फार्मर का देखिए, इट इज़ एट पार। रीज़न क्या है कि अपनी पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री एग्री इकोनॉमी की तरह लिंक है, ठीक है ना। इट्स नॉट मच ऑफ अर्बन बिजनेस, इट इज़ मोर ऑन ए एग्री। दिस एब्सोल्युटली सूट्स देम, क्योंकि बिहार उत्तर प्रदेश को एडवांटेज क्या है कि कॉर्न की प्रोडक्शन उनके पास लोकल है, तो उनको एक बड़ा एडवांटेज है। उसका हमको पैटर्न से लग रहा है कि उस एरिया में, लेकिन उनकी कंजम्पशन डिमांड बहुत ज़्यादा है। अभी उनके जो प्रोडक्शन लेवल हैं काफ़ी मिनिस्कुल हैं, लेकिन आगे टाइम में आने में 5-10 साल के बाद इन स्टेट्स को ग्रोथ फैक्टर अच्छा मिलेगा और अच्छे एंटरप्रेन्योर आपको वहाँ पर क्रिएट होंगे। थैंक यू।
ये जो सेकंड क्वेश्चन था रिगार्डिंग GM फूड्स को लेके, जो आपने सवाल उठाया कि जो इंपोर्ट हो रहा है या होगा उसमें जो GM फीडिंग सिस्टम है और हमारे यहाँ बैन है, तो हम उसका फ़ायदा क्यों नहीं उठाते। दो स्टेज हैं राइट नाउ। एक तो FSSAI ने मीट स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाए, मीट एंड पोल्ट्री प्रोडक्ट्स के स्टैंडर्ड हैं। अभी GM फूड्स के ऊपर स्टैंडर्ड्स बन रहे हैं और उस पर बहुत डिबेट है। और मैं आपको बता दूं कि जब भी आपके यहाँ स्टैंडर्ड किसी भी कंट्री में अगर GM फूड के स्टैंडर्ड बनते हैं, तो जो GM प्रमोटिंग कंट्रीज़ हैं उनका काफ़ी दबाव रहता है और वो काफ़ी इंटरवेंशन करते हैं इवन एट द टाइम ऑफ फ्रेमिंग ऑफ द लॉ। पहली बात। दूसरी बात ये है कि आज भी अगर CSE की आप रिपोर्ट देखें तो जितने भी इम्पोर्टेड फूड आ रहे हैं उसमें 60% फूड में GM पाया गया है ऑलरेडी, और वो हमारे मार्केट्स में आ चुके हैं। उसका जस्टिफिकेशन FSSAI ने ये दिया कि साहब देयर इज़ ए रेगुलेटरी वैक्यूम, जबकि वैक्यूम नहीं है टेक्निकली, क्योंकि GM एज ए फूड इज बैंड इन इंडिया। तो ये जब रेगुलेटर खुद एक एक्सक्यूज दे रहा है कि मैं काम क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा, विच इज़ वेरी सैड अफेयर। नंबर 1, मेरा इंडस्ट्री से, क्लैफमा से और PFI से रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि इससे पहले कि सरकार कानून बनाए और आप उसको बाद में रिएक्ट करें, अभी कानून बनाने की प्रक्रिया जारी है। क्योंकि FSSAI CEO का स्टेटमेंट था कि हम जल्दी ही GM बेस्ड फूड्स के ऊपर कानून लाने वाले हैं, तो अगले हो सकता है 10 दिन, 1 हफ्ते, महीने के अंदर अंदर कुछ ड्राफ्ट आए। इससे पहले कि एक गलत ड्राफ्ट बने और बाद में हम उसको रेक्टिफाई करें, और ब्यूरोक्रेसी की एक ये होता है कि अगर मैंने एक बार लिख दिया मैं बदलूंगा नहीं, वो ईगो क्लैश की बात आती है कि कहीं ना कहीं या तो आप मुझे प्रूव कर रहे हो कि मैंने ब्लंडर कर दिया, और उसको बदलना मुश्किल होता है। इससे पहले कि डॉक्यूमेंट गलत बन के बाजार में आए, आप अभी से इंटरवेंशन शुरू करिए, पहला रिक्वेस्ट। दूसरा, आपके पास जो प्रोटेक्शन सिस्टम है वो है लाइव स्टॉक इंपोर्टेशन एक्ट। उसमें इंपोर्ट की टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस क्या होनी चाहिए, आप उसको रिव्यू करिए। वो आपके पास है जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनिमल एग्रीकल्चर, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एनिमल हस्बेंड्री के हाथ में है, क्योंकि इंपोर्ट परमिट वो देते हैं लाइव स्टॉक प्रोडक्ट के लिए। ये दोनों साधन हमारे पास हैं आज भी। मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि इंडस्ट्री इस पे एक्टिवली एंगेज हो, क्योंकि बाद में चिल्लाने से कुछ नहीं होगा। अभी विंडो ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी है, उसको कैपिटलाइज करिए। सोचने का भी अभी टाइम नहीं है, टाइम टू एक्ट। अगर वो नहीं किया तो अगली मीटिंग में हम यही कहेंगे, यार ये क्या हो गया। और इसमें जो प्रावधान आने चाहिए, जिसको इनडायरेक्टली हम WTO लैंग्वेज में कहते हैं सो कॉल्ड नॉन टैरिफ बैरियर्स, अगर आपको अपना हित बचाना है आपको उस पर काम करना पड़ेगा। अब कौन करेगा, ये अपने आप में एक सवाल है कि हु विल टेक द लीडरशिप। मेरा निवेदन है प्रधान जी से और क्लेफमा चेयरमैन प्रेसिडेंट जो भी आपके वहाँ अध्यक्ष हैं उनसे, इमीडिएटली एक जॉइंट इंडस्ट्री की कमेटी बनाइए, उसमें आप अपने एक्सपर्ट्स रखिए जो इस मुद्दे को समझते हों और उसको लीगल लैंग्वेज में सरकार को कैसे बताना है इसका ध्यान रखें और कार्रवाई शुरू करें, बिकॉज वर्क इज ऑलरेडी इन प्रोग्रेस एंड यू कैन सी नोटिफिकेशन सून। सो आई एम जस्ट वांटेड टू हाईलाइट दिस कि अब हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है। गलत कानून बन गए तो आपको पूरी जिंदगी झेलना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि सरकार में एक बार गलत चीज़ बन जाती है उसको सुधारने में अगले 2 जनरेशन लग जाते हैं। थैंक यू।
जस्ट एड ऑन टू दिस, इनफैक्ट डॉक्टर पतुरकर और मैं दोनों साइंटिफिक पैनल ऑन मीट एंड मीट प्रोडक्ट्स में हैं। सो ड्राफ्ट बनेगा, ड्राफ्ट ऑलमोस्ट तैयार है और ऐसा नहीं है ड्राफ्ट डायरेक्ट इम्प्लीमेंट हो जाएगा। इट विल बी ऑन द पब्लिक डोमेन फॉर कमेंट्स। जब पब्लिक डोमेन में आएगा देन वी शुड रिएक्ट इफ एनीथिंग वी नीड। वो उस समय वी शुड बी वेरी वेरी कॉन्शियस जब वो पब्लिक डोमेन में आएगा। हालांकि हम लोगों ने कोशिश की है कि पहले ही सारे लोगों से इनपुट ले लिए जाएं, वट एवर वी वॉन्ट टू फ्रेम, बट in spite of that, whenever draft is ready and is available for the comments, क्योंकि 16 वीक का टाइम मिलेगा हमारे पास, 4 वीक 4 वीक 4 वीक 4 वीक 4 बार 16 वीक का टाइम मिलेगा। उस समय पे वी नीड टू रिएक्ट। तो इन हाउस अगर हम प्रिपरेशन करना चाहते हैं डेफिनेटली वी शुड डू, एंड फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री इफ वी कैन डू समथिंग that definitely will be done. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the last comment. I think one of the important thing which raised today during panel discussion, which is we have not discussed in the daytime, that is GMO. I think that is very important. One of the advantage for the PFI is located in North India, very close to Delhi. PFI body member all are very good relations, or they are regularly communicating with the central government of ministry, and that we can take advantage. And as Vijay ji correctly said, so all association has to come together and to work for this, the cause of the noble cause of the poultry industry. I thanks all the panelists who came here and given the valuable suggestions. So we start with the memento, and first I request Mr. Ramesh Chandra Khatri sir and Dr. Dinesh Bhosle to hand over the memento to our guest of honor for the evening, Dr. Deepak Maisekar sir. Thanks, Dr. Maisekar. Sir, you came here. I request all panelists to take their respected seats. So entire event, PFI event, is done because of all teamwork. So everybody is involved in this. So many companies involved, so many associations are involved, so many individuals are involved. So we like to, as a token of love, PFI wants to give a present of memento to the all supporter or all the team members, we can say, who has done this successful, the grand success.
All those sponsoring companies who are outside, I request them to be here. As we'll be giving memento to the sponsoring companies, so I request all the members of the sponsoring companies to be inside the hall. All poultry press people, all association executive members to be here. We'll be giving the mementos right now. Thank you.
So we start with association. As you can see, a lot of people, or particularly poultry entrepreneurs, are representing here. One of the key speakers was from the Maharashtra Poultry Breeder Association. So I request Mr. Vasant Kumar, President of the Maharashtra Poultry Breeder Association, to come here, and I request Ramesh ji Khatri sir and Dr. Deepak Maisekar sir to hand over the memento. A big round of applause, please. Next, I request INFA. As list is quite big, so I can take continuously names, so we have to be finish on time, and we'll start our entertainment program, and dinner also is there, so we can finish as early as possible.
All INFA executive members are requested to be here. All executive members of INFA, I request to be here to receive this memento. A big round of applause, please.
Next, I request CLAFMA. The executive director is here and other CLAFMA dignitaries and CLAFMA members.
All CLAFMA executive members to be here after this. All CLAFMA members to be here on the dais to receive this memento. Next is IPMA. I request executive members of Indian Poultry Equipment Manufacturers Associations. Next is IPMA. Thank you very much, CLAFMA.
I request IPMA, Poultry India, the executive members, the next to receive the memento.
A big round of applause for IPMA, organizers of Poultry India exhibition.
I request next IPJA, the Indian Poultry Journalists Association. So all members for the IPJA to receive the memento.
All executive members of Indian Poultry Journalists Association, please. These mementos boxes are on the back side, so you can collect the boxes also for these mementos. A big round of applause for all Indian Poultry Journalists Association, the Poultry Press.
So as they represented from the IPJA, so we are announcing individual recognition also, because they came, traveled, and they always support us. So they are, whenever we need their support, they always support. So individually we are recognizing here to the poultry press people. I request first Mr. B.S. Rana.
Yes, Mr. Rana, publisher of Poultry Punch.
Then I request Mr. M.K. Vyas, publisher of the Hindu Poultry. I request then Shashank Purohit,
Poultry Dairy Feed and News Point. Mr. Purohit. A big round of applause, please.
Shashank Purohit. I request Dinesh Kumar, Poultry Technology.
Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Ravi, Poultry Technology.
We request Mr. Murthy from Poultry Herald. Request Mr. Baljinder Agi.
Mr. Dinesh is Poultry Federation of India convener also. A big round of applause.
We request Prachi Arora from Benison Media. Prachi is there.
Thank you very much,
thanks Dr. Maisekar sir and request to take a seat for the. Mr. M. N. Rao, we missed, sorry. So if you see, the flags, behind flags, all these companies, so they are the sponsors for this, and they made the grand success for this today's event and PFI AGM. I request you to round of applause for the all together.
A big round of applause for all our sponsoring companies.
Each and every company. We start with Super Platinum, Saifi Wet Made. Please come, staff of Saifi Wet Made. They are the Super Platinum sponsor for this event.
Mr. Rahul?
Any staff from the Saifi Wet Made? Yes. Next is Globion, Platinum sponsor. I request team of Globion, and I request Rameshji to hand over both mementos for Saifi Wet Made and Globion.
A big round of applause for our Super Platinum sponsors.
Next is Globion, Platinum sponsor. I request Globion team. Dr. Dave from Globion. Next is USEC. I request Mr. Sanju
Dr.
Gupta also to hand over the memento to the USEC. I request IB group, team from the IB.
Dr. Bahal sir.
To receive the memento from Mr. Sanju Gupta. Next I request Mr. Ranpal Dhanda to come here to hand over the memento. I request Godrej Tyson Foods, the team from Godrej Tyson Foods. Godrej Tyson Foods, please. Then I request EW Nutrition.
Mr. Shiv Shankar.
Mr. Shiv Shankar from Poultry line.
I request Mr. Bittu Dhanda to be here only.
Bittu Dhanda, please.
A big round of applause for EW Nutrition. Thank you, our
Then Mr.
sponsor.
Shiv Shankar from the Poultry line. Bittu ji, yahi rahiye.
Mr. Dhanda, please be here.
Next, I request Mr. Ricky Thapar to hand over memento to the Kargil team. To the Kargil team, and next I request Poultry India IPMA team to receive the memento. I request Dr. Kapil Manwal to come for the handover the next mementos. Next is entertainment sponsor Hue Pharma. I request team of Hue Pharma. I request Dr. Kapil Manwal for next two mementos to hand over. Hue Pharma for entertainment.
The boxes of these sponsorship
Entertainment
mementos
sponsor,
are on the back
Hue
side.
Pharma, please.
So you can collect after this session. You can collect the boxes of for the mementos on the back side. Thank you.
I request Reviosa Biotech to receive the memento. Team of Reviosa Biotech. To hand over next mementos, I request Mr. Subramaniam sir, Mr. D. Subramaniam.
A big round of applause, please. आज हम जब इकट्ठा हुए हैं ये स्पॉन्सर्स की सपोर्ट से हुआ है, सो तालियों की आवाज रुकनी नहीं चाहिए, तालियां लगातार बजनी चाहिए. थैंक यू.
आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं चाहिए. I request AB Vista team to receive the memento. And then I request Addicio team.
Dr. Vijay Makhija.
I request Evonik team to receive the memento. Evonik team, anybody is there? Okay.
Next.
So I request Zoitus, any Zoitus team from the Zoitus. I request Neeraj Srivastava to hand over next mementos. Zoitus team, please. A round of applause, please, for the Zoitus team. I request Neeraj Srivastava for handover next mementos. I request Delacon team to receive the memento. Next is Satvik Feeds, team from the Satvik Feeds. A round of applause, please.
This is a memento for North Zone Broiler Breeder Association. May I request Mr. Krishan Rathi, Secretary for North Zone Broiler Breeder Association, to be here. And I request Mr. Danda sir to kindly present this memento. I request our Honorable President sir also to give this memento, please. Mr. Krishan Rathi, please. And the other members of North Zone Broiler Breeder Association.
I request Mr.
A big round of applause for North Zone Broiler Breeder Association.
I request Mr. Selvan Kannan to come for the handover the mementos. I request Biomin team.
A big round of applause. Next is Brentak Polwet. I request Dr. Sujit to kindly present this memento to Polwet, Brentak. Next, may I request Dr. Dinesh Arora to be here. Thank you. The first team, our sponsors first.
Team FOSS. Is there anybody from FOSS? Yeah. Then next is Alltech. A team from Alltech.
Dr. Dinesh be here only.
I request Mr. G.S. Chima to hand over the next two mementos. Thank you, Dr. Arora sir. I request Tara Group, Mr. Subramaniam sir.
A big round of applause for our dear friend Mr. Subramaniam, whose executive member is also one of the sponsors, Tara Group.
Next, I request Siva Polkem Group to come here. Siva Polkem Group.
Siva team, please.
Siva team, please come.
Fast.
Next is Satvik Feeds. A round of applause, please. Next is Satvik Feeds, the team of Satvik Feeds, please. Next, I request Dr. Pawan Kumar to come here to hand over the mementos. I request a representative from the NECC. Thank you, Chima sir. Thank you very much. Next is Unnat Feeds. A big round of applause for the NECC, please. Next is Unnat Feeds. I request Mr. Harpal Danda and his team to receive the memento. I request Dr. Sachin Ingewar.
Dr. Sachin, please.
To hand over the next mementos. DP Group, team of DP Group. Next is Sri Krishna Kripa Feeds. DP Group first. Sri Krishna Kripa Feeds. I request Dr. Day sir to come here to hand over the next mementos. And I request DSM team.
DSM team, please.
DSM team, please. Next, I request Trau Nutrition, team of Trau Nutrition. Sir, please, Trau Nutrition, please. I request Dr. Shirish Nigam to hand over next mementos. The first is Khushbu Feeds, team of Khushbu Feeds.
Mr. Sanjeev Gupta, a big round of applause for Khushbu Feeds. Our dear friend Mr. Sanjeev Gupta,
Vice President of PFI,
who has been working tirelessly for arranging all the lunch arrangements.
Next, I request Elanco team. Elanco team, please be here. I request Ashok Seth,
Mr. Ashok Seth, please.
To hand over the mementos. I request Kemin team. Team from the Kemin.
Kemin team, please.
I think nobody's from Kemin team. Sandhu Poultry Farm. I request team of Sandhu Poultry Farm. Next, I request Dr. Dinesh Bhosle. Dr. Dinesh Bhosle is here to come here to hand over the next mementos. A team of Himalaya Drugs. Team of Himalaya Drugs, please come to receive the memento.
Next is Dr. Jitendra. Please be
Safal
here.
Feeds. Safal Feeds, team of Safal Feed. A big round of applause, please.
Mr. Bablu from Safal Feeds. A big round of applause.
Next, I request Dr. Jitendra Verma to come here to hand over the mementos. Ravindra Medicos. A team of Ravindra Medicos.
Mr. Ravinder from Ravindra Medicos, Delhi.
Then I request Avian Biologicals. I request Dinesh Kumar to come here to hand over the mementos. And I request Behan's Lab, team of Behan's Lab. Then next, Rosary Biotech. After Behan's Lab, a team of Rosary Biotech.
Fast.
I request Deepak Khosla ji to hand over the mementos for next. Boringer, Ingelheim, the Boringer team. Anybody is there from Boringer team? I request Da Vision. Anybody is from Da Vision? The team of Ayurved. Da Vision is there. Da Vision.
Welcome. A big round of applause, please.
So next is Ayurved team. I request Ricky Thapar ji to hand over next to Easy Feeds. Easy Feeds.
Mr. Baljinder from Easy Feeds.
Mr. Ricky Thapar ji, please hand over the memento. And Optima Life Sciences. A team of Optima Life Sciences. So the one man which is really coordinating very hard since last almost 2 months, and he was the like a brain behind this, and he was with us to entire our Pune team and local team, and we should recognize him. And you can see that Rahul Khatri.
A big round of applause
for
Rahul
please,
Khatri.
He is the mastermind, brain,
Man
all
behind
supporter.
the scene.
You can say he is the director for this event, entire event. and very calmly and very coolly. Rahul the cool, I can say.
I request Mr. Ramesh Chandra,
Ramesh Khatri
Mr.
ji
Sanjeev Gupta, Mr. Danda to be here to present this memento.
Yeah.
I'll appreciate if all executive members can come here again. All executive members of Poultry Federation of India to be here.
So along with under the direction of Rahul, so we all work together as a team. And
A big round of applause again. Mr. Rohit Khatri, Mr. Rohit.
And the most local team which is worked under the directorship of the Rahul, I can call them Dr. Santosh Ire, Mr. Rahil Somji, Kunal Patra, Dr. Sahib Rathod,
तालियों की आवाज रुकनी नहीं
Mr.
चाहिए.
Pramod Hinge, Mr. Pramod Hinge. These are the team. We work together. We followed up. You must have received so many messages, phone calls, mails, and everything is coordinated by all these teams. So this is the team, local team behind to make this grand success.
One more thing I prefer to add, he forgot his own name. Dr. Sujit Kulkarni was also one of the man behind this success in Pune.
Thank you very much.
आइए सर. आइए सर.
This is for Rahil Somji.
A big round of applause.
This is for Dr. Santosh.
Music little loud, please.
And the next one is for Dr. Sujit Kulkarni. And the next memento is for
Let's
Mr.
give 2 mementos to him.
Next memento is for Mr. Kunal Patre.
Thank you, Dr. Sujit, for all your cooperation.
Mr. Kunal Patre.
A big round of applause.
Dr. Sahib Rathod. Memento for the Dr. Sahib Rathod. Then Mr. Pramod Hinge. Pramod Hinge is there.
Thank you all the executive members of Poultry Federation of India. Thank you very much. I again request the boxes of these mementos are on the back side. So all those who got mementos can have their boxes, please. Thank you. Mr. Rohit Khatri is here. I request Mr. Rohit to be here. I request Mr. Bittu Dhanda and Mr. Sanjeev Gupta to kindly present this memento to Mr. Rohit. A big round of applause for dear Rohit. A big round of applause.
We have one more support from our seniors and colleagues. We have the strong group Vets in Poultry. Ajay sir, एक मिनट. We have a really very strong group, Vets in Poultry, where we have a lot of discussions going on the technical discussion, technical updates, and they are supported very well in this to grand success. I request Dr. Latkar, Dr. Ajay Deshpande, so many vets in here, they are all members. So whosoever, yeah, Dr. Sachin, even Dr. Santosh Hire, the admin of the Vets in Poultry group, Dr. Sachin Patil, Dr. Atul Rajput, all people who are in Vets in Poultry and they are actively support Dr. Huda, Dr. M.M. Pathak, Dr. M.M. Pathak, Dr. Huda, Dr. Ranade sir,
A big round of applause for these veterinarians.
Dr. Basavaraj sir, Dr. Atul Patil. Please all you come here, whosoever Vets in Poultry group, and they supported lot. Dr. Pankaj Tuttewar, Dr. Prasad Kulkarni, Dr. Chandrakant Pathak, Dr. V.R. Kulkarni sir.
A big round of applause for all these veterinarians. Thank you everybody, thank you very much. Now may I request Mr. Ramesh Chandar sir, President PFI, to be here to present a special memento to Mr. Harpal Danda, who was our first speaker. Harpal sir ने practical अपना knowledge share किया. मैं request करूँगा Mr. Ramesh Chandar sir से Mr. Harpal Danda के लिए big round of applause for Mr. Harpal Danda.
All these events, our local event manager is Devendra, Mr. Devendra Nadre. I request Mr. Devendra for such a wonderful arrangement. Everybody appreciated your audio and visual arrangement without any disturbance. We are completed and we are looking forward for the nice entertainment program. Please come Devendra on the stage to receive the memento. I request Mr. Ramesh Khatri, President of PFI, to hand over the memento to Mr. Devendra Nadre.
Dear PFI sponsors, special invitees and members, thank you very much for all your overwhelming response. Now we'll be giving a 30-minute breaks so that we can do the setup for an evening musical program. So you can have your networking program outside, can relax. 1 hour, okay, good. So everybody will join back at 7:30 here. It's 6:30 now, so for 1 hour. And then it will be followed by cocktails, musical program, sponsored by UV Pharma, and then followed by dinner. Thank you very much, everybody.